Such a long, drawn out ending there I got. First, short, now it's too long. I'm just leaving it. Good evening, two of my favorite men. How are you? I'm so lucky to have you both here with me.
Thank you for having.
Oh my God, absolutely. Hey, everybody out there in the paranormal land and world on this Wednesday hump day. I didn't pick Wednesday for no reason, just so you guys know that. Here we are almost into 7 years, and you guys finally got the reason I picked Wednesday, because it's hump day. Or what do they do? Whip them out Wednesday, you know, all that stuff. Remember all the Wednesday stuff? Hi, Robert. So for people that are joining us, you know, I mean, maybe we'll just give it a couple minutes. There's like, you know, there's about 7, 8, 10 people right now. But Bestie Boo Boo, Jossie. Hey, Penny. Maggie. All right. So let's get started because we have two awesome men to interview and talk and chat. And they, I guess, in a girl way, you guys are besties. Not in a girl way. Like if you guys. I guess the terminology you would use in a girl's terminology would be you guys are besties, which is cool because I didn't know that until recently. Megan said she loves seeing Maverick live. So I'm happy to have you both on. New Jersey Power Unity is coming up. Wes, you're going to be there, and I think you're staying with Greg. Correct? Maybe?
Well, no, not in the same room. We had a bad situation the last time, so we decided to. No, I'm kidding.
Greggy, I told you to keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah, no, we're there, but we're in separate rooms this time. So
here's the wonderful thing right now. Unplanned. Greggy is wearing Wes's shirt, right?
Yep.
Wes is wearing Paranormal Brew's shirt, and I have a shirt that Wes gave me when I last saw him. So I put that on for Wes.
That's awesome.
So like unplanned, we're all supporting. I love it. It's great. So let's start out for the people that don't know you guys. Greg, if you want to start, and then Wes, you take over, and then maybe kind of like fill us into where, you know, you guys investigate together, and that's how you found out, like, oh my gosh, this guy's like, you know, we're like-minded and we get along and we could be like really cool bros, blah, blah, blah. And then anything coming up. I do know you'll be at New Jersey Power Unity, both of you. So that's cool. So go ahead, Greggy, take it away.
All right. So I'm the paranormal host at Fort Mifflin. Been doing that for 6 years now. Been involved in paranormal for over 20 years. Did the group things, but now I'm just at the fort. So you can always find me down at Fort Mifflin.
In Philadelphia, right?
In Philadelphia. Yep. Outside by the airport.
So really quick, not really quick. What am I saying? Whatever. Take your time. We have time. But like maybe a couple of key history facts and then some of the paranormal claims out of Fort Mifflin.
All right. Now, um,
I know this
Fort-
is a repeat,
I
right?
know.
I know.
No,
Good.
no, no. The Fort Mifflin is your longest active military fort in United States history, serving from the Revolution through the Korean War. Deactivated in 1954. It's unique in that layers of history, layers of death, layers of spirits there. It's just not, I mean, it was, you had 250 men killed um, at the Revolutionary War. It was a military, when it was being rebuilt under John Adams, it was yellow fever epidemic time during the city of Philadelphia where they lost a third of the population. It was a military prison in the Civil War. And it's right on the Delaware, so you have drowning victims. It was a military fort, so you had executions, hangings, firing squads. So there's a lot. Um, like as I say, lots of layers, lots of death, lots of spirits there at the fort. So there's all kinds of great activities, spirits there. We have the Screaming Lady, which is notorious. That's Wes has heard her. We've all heard her that have been there, and we don't know who she is really. A lot of people might go if you go back to Taps. Uh, the story of the Screaming Lady is not true. That was repeated on that. Elizabeth Pratt did die at the fort, but she did not hang herself. But the Screaming Lady is well documented. Police have been called to come out to the fort for hearing screams during the night, and so it's documented in the Philadelphia Police Department. We
That's
have
awesome.
yeah, we have a tour guide, a Revolutionary War soldier that gives great tours. He's well documented. People get freaked out when they realize afterwards when they're told we have no tour guides there, and they just had a great tour. Um, there's all kinds, full bodies, shadows, um, just you name it, it's there at the fort. Like I say, it's so unique. You just have all the layers and layers of the history and the layers of all the death. Um, with the drowning victims, bodies still get recovered and washed up down there at the Delaware. So, as I always say, we have always some fresh spirits going through the place.
It's really awesome because I didn't know about the documented police reports.
Yeah, Precinct 12, Philadelphia.
That's pretty interesting. So they get 911 calls that there's somebody screaming or whatever, and then they go out there and there's nothing.
Right. The Army Corps of Engineers is right uh, behind us. That's actually part of was the fort grounds. Um, when the fort was deactivated, it was the historic buildings that were deactivated and then given to the city of Philadelphia. But the rest of the grounds of Fort Mifflin are still active. So the Army Corps is back there. There's um, National Guard units all back there. But yeah, the Army Corps. Uh, it's one documented cases. There was a night watchman there at the fort hanging out, and he got a call from the Army Corps of Engineers going, "Why is all that screaming coming from over there?" And he goes, "What screaming?" So he went out and heard the screaming, called the police. They came out, checked it. They couldn't find any source of the screaming, and then the screaming stopped. And then as they were walking out, the scream started, and
Oh,
the night watchman said, "I'm out of here." So. Yep. So it's very well documented.
that's pretty awesome. I mean, aside from the paranormal stuff, Fort Mifflin, the history of it, like being in a place with all that history. One of the reasons I love doing what we do is like because of the history and being getting able to be into these amazing historical locations and like
Mhm.
with everything that's happened there, it's just you kind of I can close my eyes, not really, but like behind the mind's eye, and I can like when you're hearing when people are this is why the history of a location is so important to me
Right.
because you know when it's truth and it's real, I actually physically can not for real, but like I close my eyes and I just can picture. I can't believe I'm walking in the footsteps. the same footsteps as somebody did 200 years ago, but they were here for totally different purpose. Like, and I can picture the story just unraveling right there. And I think it brings you closer to whatever spirit energy might be there. If you can kind of connect with that type of connect with it on that level, I think it helps to open it up. So, it's history is so important when it comes to locations. And you don't have to have, like, a lot of people think you have to have trauma at locations and stuff, and you don't have to have trauma. It can just be, it can be the land, it could be this, but it could just be that somebody was totally in love with that place and they're sticking around.
Right.
No, so I mean, that's the beauty of it. I mean, Fort Mifflin is an amazing place. First time I went was probably, don't quote me on this year, but it had to be, it was before I joined South Jersey Ghost Research. So it was, uh, I don't know, 2010-ish, something in there. But Steve, Dustin, and Steve, Dustin, Kate,
Tango.
Tango,
Yeah.
they were there.
Right.
And it was a public ghost hunt. It was me and my sister. We were there, and they were amazing. They were like the most down to earth dudes. Greg, I fell in love with. I was like, this is great. This place is awesome. It's 15 minutes from me. Ask me how many times I get there a year.
I know. And
It's
you're
it's
always invited.
it sucks. Like, I want to get there more. It's really an awesome place.
Yes.
All right. So
So getting back to how I met Wes, it was back at the Gettysburg Bash years ago, and he was with Arthur Richard Estep, and we got to be talking, and ended up they ended up coming out to the fort to investigate, and they came out with the book, ooh, the
Yep.
Ghosts That Saved America. So
Oh
Richard,
yeah.
yeah, so that's out. Wes is in that book. I'm in that book. So that's how we first met. And then Wes has been back to the fort investigating. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Hopefully we
how.
get to investigate it together, Wes.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, hopefully we get to investigate the fort together.
Yeah, I'd love that. We definitely have to plan something for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So with that, Wes, tell everybody about Wesley. I love saying that, by the way. I hope you don't mind.
Well, normally only my mother gets to say that, but anyway, it's not a big deal. You can call me whatever you want except for late for dinner, right?
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, my name's Wes Coleman. I've been an investigator for probably about 15 years or so. A lot of people in the chat know me from the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. And excuse me, I formed a team of correctional officers back in 2012 where we do investigations all across Canada and the US. And did that for a few years. I mean, we're still kind of together, but the problem is right now is I lost one of my members back in February to a heart attack,
Yeah, sorry about that.
and I have another guy that's on long-term disability. So it's been a little tough. So I've been kind of bearing the weight of the load, and I mean it's still my passion, and I still try to help people as much as I can. Being on my own, it's a little more difficult. But it's a transitionary period, and thank God I have friends like you guys where I can come down to a spot and say, listen, can I hop along on an investigation? And you guys say, sure, absolutely. And we do stuff together, and I mean that's what it's all about. Yeah, everybody leaves their ego at home, and you
Hmm.
keep an open mind, and everybody's has different investigation techniques, and I mean you're constantly learning, and
Yep,
that's
I
what I
agree.
like so much about it is, obviously there's better ways of doing things than others, but I mean you keep an open mind, and it's amazing what you can learn.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so
Well,
I've been all across England and Scotland and the USA on my own. My favorite place to investigate is in Edinburgh, Mary King's Close, which is a phenomenal location. However, I've been to different older prisons in England and across the States and Canada, and that's kind of our specialty, was going to prisons, old prisons, and it's incredible the energy you get when you're a correctional officer going into an old institution. It tends to
Cool.
amp things up a little
Well,
bit.
you're like bait almost.
Exactly. Yeah.
So wait, there's like I have a lot of questions. So let's see. Um, so Canada, right? Is Canada a very big paranormal place, or
There are quite a few teams. I mean, we kind of lay a little more low than the teams in the States. We're not as well known. I was actually trained by a very accredited paranormal team called C.O.P.S, which stands for Canadian Haunting and Paranormal Society. Dave Gibb is actually the president of that group, and he's also a member of the TAPS group as well. So they give him calls if they get situations in Canada that need to be looked after. But yeah, it's widely going on. There's teams out west that I know in British Columbia and Alberta, and it's more of a it's not as publicized as teams would be in the States, but still a lot of great people out there doing a lot of great things, helping people that have hauntings, and it's really it's they're all really good people.
yeah? And I love it. I love how you're there and you've come down to the States and you're kind of like, because I think so. I'm gonna say this because when you were talking earlier about being by yourself, I was gonna say if you ever need help with anything, let me know. I mean, because sometimes a conversation with a client can help. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
maybe like help to give a little bit more time before you can get out there, or just like if like a phone call, and helping people set boundaries or teaching people or educating people, like sometimes that can help out just to kind of give you a breather for a second and maybe not even investigation at all, if you can get them to do that. So if you need help, and then Jossie, before I could say that, Jossie said, uh, always up for an investigation with US, call me and Taryn and we're in. So you have help. You come down here, we can come up there, So I wanted to make sure I told you that.
Well, I very much appreciate that. Thank you, Turin
And
and
so
Jocelyn.
so do you primarily gear yourself towards prisons?
Yeah, that's our kind of our specialty. I mean, we do help people too, like private cases, which is more rewarding of an experience than anything. But the bigger places like the old prisons and asylums are really very interesting to us as well, because we're better able to research locations like that than we would like we're like a private residence. It's I mean, there's a bit of research there, but you're more worried about the people and
Yes.
how they're going to get through it.
Absolutely. Then getting evidence, right? And that's a lot of things that people don't understand. Like, these people that are looking for help aren't looking just to let you come in and investigate and let you collect evidence. You know what I mean? And then call it a day. Private homes are completely different than, you know, locations and public events and stuff like that. Like it's a whole nother level. People need to be careful. They don't understand that.
Absolutely.
Because even if it is a psychological thing, or even if it is whatever, you're still going in there and you're stirring shit up, whatever it is, on whatever level is going on there. So you always got to be mindful of that. And so, you know, you
And
don't hear.
sometimes, there are these groups that go into places that, you need to go in and clean up. I mean, we call ourselves the para police too, because we're obviously, members of law enforcement. So we want to make sure people aren't being, fraudulently being taken advantage of by groups who, I mean, there are groups out there that try to charge money for investigations, which is totally immoral.
That's a
And
total like red flag.
Yeah, and they take advantage of people, and or they'll do subtle things like, oh, our investigation's free, but you'll have to pay if we have to sage your place, or they do these little things like that. But we kind of make sure, and the groups in Canada know for the most part who we are, and we're able to get the point across that this kind of stuff isn't acceptable.
Oh, so you're like a bigwig up in
Well,
Canada.
I wouldn't say that, but I mean, there are a lot of groups we don't even know. I mean,
Right.
there's so many groups that are, I, I use the word loosely, but unaccredited groups who like just form and then they decide that they're going to do an investigation and they have no idea what they're doing. And generally they cause more harm than they do good. So,
Mhm.
Right.
Yep. They watch a TV show and off they go.
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure. I mean, listen, when I first started getting into it, you know, that I mean, admittedly, that was me. You know, I was running around in cemeteries with a recorder and a flashlight, not knowing what I was doing, and you know, I mean, I had experiences, but I was in a different mindset then, you know what I mean? Like everything was paranormal. I mean, even though I definitely have EVPs and stuff like that, but everything was paranormal,
Mm.
you know? Um, and you just did the education wasn't there at all. Obviously, I'm running around a cemetery like, show me a sign of your presence. It's like what I saw on TV, it's like, so, but, uh, shit, I lost my train of thought. It happens all the time. Anyway, well, this is what I'll do. Carmen has a question. What's going on with the blacksmith shop at Fort Mifflin? I got a letter for donations.
Oh, it's just roof, new roof.
Yeah, brain freeze. Um, all right, so so you do prisons mostly, and I do love the fact that naturally, people tend to trust law enforcement, EMTs, doctors, a little bit more. Just you think that these people have an ethical moral inside of them. I'm not saying everybody's perfect, just saying that the majority of people tend to be a little bit more trusting with those, in those professions and stuff like that. So I imagine private cases that kind of makes it a little easier for you because for me one of the things was always trying to get the client to be compliant, or listen to what I'm saying, try the advice I'm doing. If it doesn't work, we'll go to the next thing, but just try this, and they don't listen.
Right.
I would think that with if they know your background and stuff like that, I think they tend to listen a little better,
Right.
trust it
Um,
better.
yes and no. Yes and no. It's not a matter of, I think the trust is one of the most important parts, but at the same time, we've been to locations where there have been, uh, you know, residential hauntings where somebody's having like seeing really strong activity, but they're on medication that makes them kind of see those kind of things. So we have to be very careful too. I mean, there are people also, that take illicit drugs. I mean, we've been in situations where we're like, okay, this is coming to an end right now. We have to leave here because we found different kinds of drugs on a property that, obviously we don't want to be there for. However, this is something, when you're fresh new investigators, you really have to be careful about. If you're not, even if you're not law enforcement, you got to be very careful. We always have this pre-interview sheet before we even do an investigation, and we have these series of questions we ask people, and one of them is like, do you take drugs, and are they prescribed, are they not prescribed? And I mean, we have to do a lot of research before, I mean, the investigation is the end game. I mean, we
Right.
really want to get to know the people before we just kind of go into their place, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with the location. I mean, you have people that wanna know the history, and you have people that don't wanna know the history, but if you don't know the history, you don't know what it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You don't know what you're going in to try to, there's no foundation or base, you know what I mean, to build off of, and sometimes that's good, sometimes not. I've tried to do both, and then, but like you have to know, everybody's got to be open. Like, this is my biggest thing. Everybody's got to be honest, and they know I'm going to go through your drawers. They know I'm going to look under the bed. They know I'm going to go in the closets. I'm saying to just be honest,
Hmm.
because tell us if there's any, and it's all confidential, but again, they have to trust that, in order to be honest. But it's almost like, when you're doing a private case, you're getting to the history of the people, which is important. And then you also have to take in the history the history of the home,
Property.
the
Yep.
property,
Hmm.
so it's a lot of work. Private
It
cases
is.
are a lot of work, and you have to be dedicated, and you don't really hear too much of private cases anymore. And it's
Hmm.
sad. Like, where'd they go?
Right. And liability is another issue too.
Hmm.
You go into a place and, say fall down in there, or, a client falls down, like, are you going to be liable, like insurance wise? I mean, you guys have a lot more of those issues in the USA than we do in Canada, but
I know.
nevertheless, it's,
And it's gotten
you know,
worse.
we have, as you know, we have really bad winters up here. So you walk into a client's home and you slip on the stairs because they didn't, do the proper measures of cleaning up the water, or, these are all things that you have to kind of be careful about when you do investigations. I mean, it goes on and on and on, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
you have people who are like, they want an investigation, but they're only there because they want to see what you do. The
right.
place isn't actually haunted. They want to know, like, oh, what are you doing with the equipment? Can I try it? And there are people like that, that just want that. And I always tell them, and as I say, usually in the interview before the investigation, all that comes out. We're pretty good at understanding, what's involved. And I always tell people, like, we do community, like you guys have, like the Lions Club down there, and charitable organizations where we go and we speak in front of people, and the public, like we go to libraries too, and do
Yeah, we
talks
do
like
that.
around
Yeah.
Halloween, and just give people an idea what it's all about, because I mean, all three of us know that there's so many fallacies that are out there about the
I know.
paranormal and how to investigate. So it's important to address all that.
Absolutely. I agree. I miss doing lectures. I used to love doing lectures, and talking to the public and everything, and answering their questions and seeing how interested they are. Of course, you get the one jerk, and like, it's like he just does not believe in anything, totally negative, and just being you know, what do they
Well,
call
we
it?
don't want to name any names, Kenny Bedell, but anyway, or Kenny Biddle.
Oh, that's my
So
boy. I love Kenny.
I know.
He's awesome. Um, so what would you say? So you've been to Fort Mifflin, Greggy.
Yep.
What would you say, Greg, or both of you? What would be like your favorite piece of, I don't know, evidence, whatever, that you've gotten from Fort Mifflin? I already know. I wasn't there for it, but Greg, you have it. I know what my favorite thing is.
Yeah, I was looking for that in the phone, but yeah, I mean, well, just my favorite is, I mean, like I say, I've experienced in everything there: full bodies, shadows, things climb over me, go through me. They know all of our names. They call us by our names. They like to play games. They test you. Just so many, that, I mean, I always tell my being sitting on a bottom bunk and something climbing over me to get to the top bunk and then coming back down over me. Just you know, just so many that, I just have so many experiences there. So it's just, you know, the more the more you the more they get to know you, the more they come out. So
That's cool. That's awesome. I love places like that. And
yeah.
so, Wes, what about you? What do you love about Fort Mifflin? Being from Canada, I mean, you know, are the places much different than, like, if we were to investigating the States, and then you go over to like, Transylvania, it's going to be two totally different types of, you know what I mean, investigations, haunts, experiences, everything, So how would you compare Canada to the United States?
Well, our history is, I mean, we've got a lot large British significance in our history. So, I mean, the War of 1812 was Britain versus America, even though it was Canada, but just we weren't a country at that time. So there's a lot of with regards to Fort Mifflin,
Oh
you
yeah,
have
so
that.
you're a not only were you an officer, you're an officer, but the British side of it. You know what I mean? So you'd be clickbait too, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, the redcoats. But our history is like relatively, small compared to yours. Canada, well, the actual country was actually founded by a guy named Jacques Cartier, and I think it was 1576 or thereabouts. And the first fort establishment was built actually by the French in Nova Scotia and the northern tip of Nova Scotia, which is called Cape Breton, and in around the early 1600s, and it's called Fort Louisbourg. And it's actually it's a museum now. What you do is you go there, you actually take a shuttle bus from like a parking lot into Louisbourg, and it's like you're just going back. Incredible, the walls are there, and then you have all the people doing the various jobs of the fort, because the people actually lived in the fort back then. And the conditions in the winter were extremely harsh there. So you get like, very bad snowstorms, very, very cold temperatures.
Wait a
And
second, they live there, like people that like people caretakers, like Greggy would live at Fort Mifflin, or like
no, the fort
No.
was actually, the town was incorporated within the fort. So it's
oh,
like
interesting.
quite a bit larger. But it's a place I haven't investigated yet. It belongs to the government of Canada, and I mean we're so conservative with regards to national historic sites as far as paranormal investigating goes. It's very difficult to get into, but one of these days.
Start working on it, Wes. I'm in. I am in. Really quick, want to give a shout out to Yvette. She actually runs Paranormal Brew. She started Paranormal Brew fan page,
Mm,
which is so cute. I love it. And she does a bang up job doing it. So I just wanted to say hey to her and give her a little shout out because she's awesome.
nice.
So so we need to like maybe Greg, we should like take a trip to Canada.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
up.
that would be fun.
Yep, just not when the black flies are out or anything.
What is this?
Okay, so that's May 28th, then. That's the only day you can come here.
Wait a second. They have big black flies. What are you saying? They have like something there that's going to attack me?
Yeah, we literally have flies that will carry you away and take you back to America where you came from.
No.
No, there's nothing like that. But we do have like, a share of mosquitoes. The best place, or the best time to come would be like September, this
Yeah.
time of year, October, most of the bugs are dead, and you're getting in before the snow flies, and it's nice time of year. We've been getting, I know you guys have had like rough weather lately down there, but
Oh,
we've been having sunny days since I think the beginning of September. We haven't had any rain at all.
Well,
So
it's
well,
coming. It's
yeah,
coming because now we're getting sunny and we're getting 80-degree weather again this weekend.
yeah. It's after
okay.
you smoked us out, so.
Yeah. No, yeah, well, you're talking about the forest fires or something else?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Wes. Yeah, the fires.
Oh, okay, because it's legal up here to have a forest fire.
Oh,
Yeah.
so wait, Nova Scotia. Isn't that where?
Yes, they're digging for gold,
Yeah,
treasure,
No,
Oak
Oak
no,
Island.
Island. Oak Island. Yep.
no. But isn't
Oh,
that where? I might make myself sound really dumb, so I apologize because I'm not really good with,
that's okay. Shoot.
geography and stuff like that. But wasn't that where Titanic sailed from? Nova Scotia?
No,
No.
no, it sailed from Ireland, or just, England. I can't remember the name
Yeah,
of the
it
place, but
made a couple
um,
stops. Yeah,
and then
before.
was hit by the
Why did
iceberg
I
before
think
it got here.
wait, why did I
It
think
was going to New York City though, but
I know.
there are graves there in Halifax, Nova Scotia, of some of the victims of the Titanic. That may be what you're thinking.
Yeah. The iceberg came from Nova Scotia.
Yeah. Came from
You
Canada.
know,
Let's just generalize.
Yes, it was
I
a Canadian.
I'm in love with Titanic history, and I like my whole life I thought it was Nova Scotia.
I think
Yeah.
well, the wreck is close off of Nova Scotia.
Maybe that's what I messed up. But you know, nobody's ever corrected me.
Yeah.
Not one person. Nobody in my life
Well,
told me, "Hey," because I'd be
yeah.
like, "Oh yeah," because I'm talking about because I tell people about the how I want to tour that replica they built. You know, and I always tell people that it sails the same exact route that the Titanic did. I'm like, from Nova Scotia to New York. That's what I say. Nobody corrects me.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, that doesn't make much sense, but
well, I thank
yeah,
you.
we as Canadians were kind of well known for really obscure things, and making an iceberg go out there to sink the Titanic and having the flag on the top of the iceberg, that's just wasn't a cool thing, but you know,
Oh my god. I know. I don't know why I thought now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, why did I think that? Nope, but nobody's ever corrected me either.
that's weird.
That is weird. Why do people like I want people to correct me if I'm wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
I walked around saying that to so many people. Nobody's ever said anything different. Anyway, I would love to go on that as a tour. Not I
Right.
wouldn't want to sail on it because it's $20,000. But I wonder if you could do tours of it. I think that would be so cool.
I think there is a museum in Halifax, like a Titanic museum, if I'm not mistaken. Halifax itself is a very haunted city. Back in 1917, there was something called the Great Explosion. It was during World War One, and Canada had a whole pile, like a stockpile of armaments, and I think it was a train. It was all like coming in on a train, and the train collided with another train, and it blew up like three-quarters of the city of Halifax,
Oh my
Yeah.
and
gosh.
thousands of people died. And you can actually go to like where they stored all the bodies, which is now a restaurant called the Five Fishermen Restaurant, and they have so much activity in there over the years. It's been crazy. But there's so many other different places there that you can visit that when you walk in that town, it's to me, it's like going to Edinburgh, Scotland. Like you can just feel there's a whole lot more going on there than what you see. And but it's a beautiful town. It's got a couple of great breweries that you can go to. One which is also haunted, called the Keith's Brewery. But it's a great place. I highly suggest it if anybody hasn't ever been to Halifax to go.
I well, I think me and Greg and Jossie and whoever, we should make a trip to Canada.
Sure.
I think that would
Yeah.
be cool. I have my passport. I think it would be cool to investigate in a cool place up that you know what I mean, in another, totally out of my whole element. I would love, and then I want to see the falls on the Canada side. I want to see, you know what I mean? Like I want to see some cool stuff,
Yeah.
not just investigate. I want to explore and you know what I mean, and history and all that stuff. I love it. It's like my favorite thing to do. Um, and I think it would be cool. Um, I want to say, I want to kind of go into this, but Greg, the other night, I asked you about you put up a video. I need to know about these lights things that were hanging. Do you know much about those? Like, what does that do for the fort?
It's just for the light show. We had that concert there this weekend, so
Oh,
that
it's like it has nothing to do with paranormal.
no, no, no. But
Oh,
I was hoping it would charge it up.
because that was
But
really cool looking.
yeah, they're really cool. They were long, like fluorescent bulbs that
Yeah.
change colors, and then they had the music going, and it was really relaxing in there. And
But Greg
So
writes all charged up for tonight, and I'm like, "What's
yeah,
this?" You know,
yeah.
like thinking like it's like putting stuff out into the whatever. You know what I mean? Like the
Well, I think it is because, there's no power in there and then have all that being charged up in there. So I can't wait to get out there I'll be there this weekend. So I can't wait to check it
uh-oh,
out. Oh, West, the passport was revoked.
there you
Um, so
Sorry, we're on dial-up in Canada. We haven't gotten to high speed yet.
yeah,
So
he's still on AOL.
hoser.
Yeah.
I know them guys.
Yep.
Not
Great
you,
White
Mark.
North. Great White North. Yeah, so it's gonna be charged up, so I can't wait.
Yeah.
it's kind of like a huge laser grid, isn't it? Like, I mean,
Yeah, it
you
was
get
wild.
anything passing
Well,
in
that's
front
what it
of it.
was. Yeah, it was so
Yeah.
cool looking. Of course, I'm like, squirrel, my AD. I'm like, they're so pretty, and they're like, I'm like, oh my god, like I thought it was like the
Yeah.
coolest thing.
Well, that's why I said they were fusion nuclear fusion rods hanging down. So
I know.
Yeah.
so
So
they were trying to transport teleportation device we were trying.
what is both of you? What is your favorite piece of equipment to use?
Just my body, really. Just I'm at the point at the fort where I
Because
just like to
if you want my body and you think I'm sexy, come on, ghosties, let me know.
yeah, So no, I just got to the point where, I just want to sit down and have a conversation and not have any equipment around. And so, but yeah, a recorder really is
Yes,
always the best thing, just so you know what you can capture something.
absolutely.
Because there's so, with all the other devices, uh, there's there could be so much contamination or interference with everything. I mean, there's absolutely positively no such thing as ghost hunting equipment because scientifically, what is a ghost? You can't
Right,
say you're detecting a ghost because you don't know exactly what a ghost is. So
right.
it's basically just detecting, you know, electromagnetic
Agents and
fields, motion, static, everything, so
sometimes shadows, sometimes cool ass pictures of
yeah, the picture.
whatever. What do
Yeah,
you?
that fourth grader picture, yes.
That's amazing.
And I got to meet the actual the fourth grader now that's an adult that took that picture and had a
Oh, that's
nice talk with him.
awesome. Oh,
Yeah, had a
that's
nice talk
so
with him.
cool. That
Yeah,
is cool. Was that recent?
just recently I just met him. Yeah.
That is
Um,
so cool. I would love to. We were running out of time, but I wish you could show the picture. But Greg has this picture that well, you tell the story.
it was a class trip. Uh, and um, during the week it's always dead at the fort except if we have class trips and we always
No
have
pun.
these.
No pun.
Yeah, yes, it's quiet. um so we had a fourth grade school group come in. Now we do have tour guides with the groups. um and they were told before they got the groups went around if they were taking pictures. The administrator that was there at the time told them to make sure you take like three pictures in a row. Just you put up your camera, 1, 2, 3, then you move it. So he was doing that throughout the fort, and out of all the pictures he took through the whole fort, this whole image of this um, s- we looks like a soldier standing in the back, and there was nobody there at the time when he took the picture. There was nobody standing there, and when the picture was sent back and was looked at, that wasn't any of the tour guides that was with that group that day.
Yeah, the attire, the hat. The
Yeah,
hat really strikes me because it's definitely not a hat that anybody would wear
tricorn.
yeah, it's a tricorn,
nowadays.
and so I keep
But
trying to
but
find
you
it.
put the picture up. Didn't you recently put the picture up?
Yes, I did recently put it up for on the website on
And
my Facebook page
okay.
um
Now
because
is
of
that how the kid found you? He's now an adult, so this was obviously how long ago?
He's come out to the fort.
That's
So
so cool. That's so
yeah.
cool. But
Uh,
how did you find him?
Um, Surprisingly, he friended me a long time ago, but I didn't know who he was.
Oh,
He's was over Penhurst a lot, so I met him over Penhurst, and we
I
friended,
wonder if
and
that picture got him into the paranormal.
yes, it did. And
That's so cool.
he's very sensitive too. So he said he felt something, so that's why he took that picture. But so yeah, now he's 20 something years old now, and uh, I can't find it.
Wes,
But
how go ahead.
no, I'm just saying, he's just sitting and talk with him. He verified the whole story, about what was told, what we've been telling everybody. He verified that whole story, um, and so yeah. I mean, he took the pictures. He got home. His mother went through, looked at the pictures, and she asked him about this, and he says, "I don't remember. There wasn't anybody there." They called right up to the office, and when they sent the picture, they said, "Yeah, that wasn't one of our guides there." So um, that's the history of that photo.
That's awesome. Wes, I was going to ask you, what first, I guess, what brought you to the States?
A
Well,
car. A car.
what's a car? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a an old Mercury, actually. No, it was actually I'm just trying to think the first time I ever did an investigation down in the States was at Moundsville Penitentiary, and I was invited by our group was invited by that group I was telling you, C.O.P.S, because they wanted to see what it would be like to have correctional officers do an investigation at a penitentiary, which was quite interesting. But that's kind of like the first time. But I think, one of the reasons why like Greg and I get along so well, and I've just kind of put this all together, but we're both very sensitive to what's going on in the environment. When I first started with the group that I'm with, it was all about the equipment and trying to measure. And of course, you can't measure, you can't use a scientific method in the paranormal. So I found I was engrossing myself in the equipment and not paying attention to everything that was going on around me. And over the years, I started realizing that there's a lot more to it than just the equipment. There were things that were affecting me, which were actually legitimate. Using the ESTAS method. I don't know
There
if
it is.
you guys have ever tried that, but it's what's that there? Sorry.
That's the picture.
Oh, the picture. Okay, cool.
Hold on, wait. Let me do this really quick. Let me put.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I put Greg? Can I make his screen bigger? Solo layout, Greg. There you go.
Can we see it any better?
No, hold on.
No. Hold on.
The way you had it was like you could see it.
It went dead.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's a bit better. Yeah.
Oh wow. There's the picture I was talking about, everybody. You see that? It's like he's looking behind. It's his hair's long. The hat is, I mean, and it looks like a jacket, right? Would you say it's a jacket he's wearing?
Yeah, it's a jacket, and it seems like it's wet too. But it goes straight down the middle.
Yeah,
Just a
it's like
light
he's
on the
looking
one
behind.
side. Yep.
Is he looking like behind, coming out from a wall? Like he's looking around a wall?
Now he's standing the wall. The real picture, you can see the wall behind him on this side, the stones and the brick.
But why is it? He looks like he's like cut in half almost.
That's it. He's the light is shining on the one side. The rest of it
Wow.
is you'll see the stone and everything behind it. There's nothing over there. It's just
Right.
half of them. So that's it.
That's amazing.
Yep.
That's
So
amazing. All right, hold on. Let's go back. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this right. Oh, no. We don't want that.
there we go. Oh,
Oh.
okay.
I feel like the Brady Bunch.
All right. So that picture's amazing. I'm glad you found it.
Yep. It's a
Carmen,
classic.
Jing is checking in from Indonesia.
Casemate 5, Carmen.
Hey, Jing.
Casemate 5, Carmen. So go ahead, Wes. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just saying that's how we kind of connected when we went to the fort. It wasn't until like maybe the second or third investigation there that I realized he was kind of paying attention more to everything that was going on around him. And what better of a guy to do that for a guy that looks after a fort, right? Because he knows if anything's out of place or so just I think, over the years, just pulling away a bit from the equipment and just learning to experiencing things myself and not being worried about proving anything to anybody, it's
Yes.
really opened my horizons a lot more, and I've been able to do a lot more, and I
Exactly.
just love that.
Yep. That's it. Just
That
let
is
let it,
awesome.
let things come to you. Feel it, and yeah.
The prison you work in, Wes, do you ever feel anything there?
Well, the prison I work at right now is it's a newer place. It was built in the 1990s. Not to say that the land couldn't still be haunted by something from the past, but it used to be farmland. So there's the occasional apparition of a cow. But no, I'm kidding.
Hey, listen, it's
But there's
30 years old. You know what I mean? There a lot can happen in a prison in 30 years.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I haven't really experienced anything that I can, chalk up to being something that's out of the ordinary. But I'm sure nobody that I know has experienced anything, and they all know what I do there. So
that's cool.
however, that being said, there is a place that, and you can take tours of it. It's called Kingston Penitentiary, and it was Canada's oldest prison. It was built in 1835, and
Ooh.
it closed in 2014. And it's now a tourist attraction. You can go and take a tour, and old correctional officers do the tours and tell you exactly
Oh,
each
that's
area.
cool.
The only thing is that people have been trying to get in there to do investigations, but they don't allow that.
Do they
Um,
understand? Do they know they can make money?
they know that, but apparently they had a psychic in there one day, and she brought up a name that the family found out about, and they just shut everything down. Said that there's a privacy act and all this sort of thing, but.
Mm.
I found my way in there to do a couple of tours and help some of the new recruits. It's used as a training place too. And
Well, like, don't you got street cred over there? Like, can't you flash your little badge and be like, hey?
well, I can't tell you anything else because I might
Okay.
get myself into trouble. But yeah, I've been there a couple of times
I was gonna say,
off the
don't leave
record
me out. Don't leave me out. That sounds like a cool place to go.
for sure.
Yeah. Um, so the couple of minutes we have left, fellas, what do we have coming up?
All right. Well, it's the busy season,
It
So
is.
yeah, at Fort Mifflin, go to fortmifflin.us. That's our website. Go to the events. We got all our candlelight tours coming up. Saturday is an open investigation, which is sold out. Um, the candlelight tours. We have our Sleep with the Ghost event. That's the weekend before Halloween. There's only a few tickets left there for that if you want to try and spend the night at the fort. Um,
Do it.
yeah. So yeah, well, the candlelight tours are great. We have everything just only candles and lanterns throughout the fort. We walk around, it's like an hour walk. We tell the stories. Those that have been there long enough, we tell our own personal stories, and we tell, of course, the stories of the screaming lady and the tour guide ghost, and all the most well documented experience and spirits that are at the fort. So that's always a good thing coming up. And yeah, so and then if you run into history, November, the weekend, the second weekend in November is the siege weekend reenactment when we have all the British that are there to come out and they attack the fort. Yesterday started the beginning of the siege of 1777, which is a 5-week siege. So if you come out for the history, that's a big. We have battles throughout the day with against the British, and that's coming up in November.
Does
So
that spike up stuff when they
oh
do that?
oh, most definitely, most
Yeah.
definitely,
Figured
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. The first time I was there. Uh, did an overnight, was with scouts, and it was the weekend after the siege weekend. And believe me, this was before TAPS got there, before anybody was there, and it was nuts. I mean,
Wow.
it was just nuts. That's the first time I
Intense
heard the
time.
screaming lady, and yeah, so yeah, a lot there. So just go to the fortmifflin.us, go to events, um, and uh,
Where are
and
you gonna be? Where's Fort Mifflin gonna be? Are you gonna be at any events like with a vending table or people can come check you out?
I'll be doing a lot of the tours, you know. And oh, in Fort Mifflin, I'll be up at New Jersey Para Unity. Yeah,
Yeah.
be up there November, the first week in November.
Whoop,
Yep,
whoop.
yep.
I'm
So I'll
looking
be
forward.
there. And that's the last one I think for this year that I'll be.
Yeah.
You know, Gettysburg Gap Bash every year up there.
Yep.
And Pennhurst in
Yep.
May.
Yep.
So yeah,
Which I won't be at.
you're not going to Pennhurst this year?
Nope. We are going on a cruise, a 10-day cruise.
Who
For Rob's.
scheduled? Who scheduled that? Rob? What the hell? Jeez.
Rob's 60th is January 2nd, and he wanted to go on a cruise for his 60th birthday. So, May, we're going to be away for 10 days. I'll be in Italy. I'll be in Pompeii, Mount Vesuvius,
Ooh.
the Vatican, Greece, Croatia. I'll be, starting in Barcelona, ending in Venice. And so that's where I will be.
And that's the new Titanic boat, right?
There's no icebergs out in the
Yeah.
Mediterranean, though.
Right.
This
That
is
would be
true.
awesome. That would
We'll
be
send one from Canada just for you.
Might hit a big olive or something and go down.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm serious about us going up to Canada.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
serious.
We'll definitely figure something out. I'd love to have you guys up there. We'll definitely. There's lots of places I can take you to. We'll kind of do a tour. You come up for a few days, and then we'll hit like a few spots rather than just one central spot. And we'll definitely get something together for sure.
Yeah, we should do it.
Yeah, we
Right?
could talk about it in a
That
couple
sounds
months,
fun. Yeah.
November. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah, for
sounds
sure.
fun. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. You guys are great. Tell everybody where well, you said Fort, you already did. So Wes, where can people find you and where are you going to be at and all that good stuff?
I don't have that much going on like Greg there, but we just have a couple of talks to do between now and Halloween. As Greg said, it's a busy season and people are more interested in the paranormal at this time of year than any other time. So it's always good I always find it's good to educate people, even though, again, like I'm not saying I know it all or anything like that, but give people the opportunity to see what an investigation is all about, and not be so rigid as far as doing things within an investigation, because as Greg said, that it's not a proven science. So you just kind of tell people go out and enjoy yourself, and be careful at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
And then
Woo-hoo.
para unity at the big shout out to John and Chris. They're amazing people.
They live right
I love going to the charity events. It's just means so much to me to be able to support those kind of ventures, because to me that's what the paranormal is all about, is helping other people, and that's where I draw my line.
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure. And that's what I was talking to John last night and I said, I love being a part of it in any way, shape, or form. People that aren't in the paranormal, they always ask the questions like, oh, well, do you get paid for that? Did you get paid for this? Did you get paid for that? And I'm like, the payment is like my picture hanging on a wall or my picture in a magazine. I don't need to get payment because that's my reward, or
Mhm.
helping my friends, being a part of that whole thing, like, and seeing these events like unfold, and the historical places making, profiting for preservation and keeping the place up. I mean, we need to hold on to our history. We need
Yep.
to hold on to it. And it's so important. And people don't understand how important that is,
And developing good personal relationships with people at these events too. Like,
Yes.
you guys are amazing friends. I never thought in a million years I'd, be able to come down there at any time, and you guys would open your lives up to me. And
Absolutely.
it's like I've met so many just amazing people. I can't even begin to say, who've taken me in with open arms, even though I am Canadian. But but you know, it's been
Well, half of us probably
so
want to move
rewarding.
there right now. So, I mean,
What's that? Sorry.
said half of us probably want to move up there anyway. So,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
we do have winter. Remember that. I know you guys have a little bit of winter, but not like ours.
this is true. Well, if
We
I
come
can
down
hibernate,
there.
good, right? So
What's
there's
that,
reason
Tori?
I said if I can hibernate, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm all right.
Come up to my cabin. I'll get you hibernated in there.
Yes, that sounds so cozy. I love it. Oh, I love it. Yes.
Rob may have a problem with that though.
Is it haunted?
It's on the
I can,
lake.
I can make it haunted.
So it's like a Friday the 13th type of a thing.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Or what? Yeah. What is it? Camp something? Lake
Cramp, cramp.
Crystal
Camp
Lake.
Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. So there you
Hi,
go.
Tim. I love you. Well, again, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on and sharing the laughs. This was great. This was cool, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So I love you, Wesley.
Love you too.
Um, and I love you, Greggy. I didn't know what this mean. I was like, what?
The absolute message tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. And everybody in the chat, everybody that watched, thanks for notifying me about the scammer. I did see it. Somehow she kept getting in. I don't know how, but thank you so much. And, you know, the brew is going to have some exciting news coming up soon. So make sure you guys watch that October 11th show. So there's a big announcement to be made, or I would say a special announcement for us. So make sure you watch that. But I'll be at New Jersey Power Unity this weekend. I'll be in Gettysburg. I'm doing Friday night. I'm doing an investigation at the Gettysburg Academy, and then Saturday night I am joining forces with Dinner with a Ghost, which is an awesome thing. And we are going to be hosting Dinner with a Ghost at the Gettysburg Academy, and then afterwards doing an investigation, and that will be live. The whole thing will be live Saturday night. So it's sold out, which is a good thing. I'm happy about that. Saturday night sold out. There are tickets left for Friday night if anybody's interested in coming to Gettysburg this weekend. Who isn't? Because Gettysburg is the best place in the universe. So with that, and I'll be at New Jersey Power Unity as well. And then I don't know what else is after that. I don't think anything, right?
Nah, that's November. Then we have
Yeah,
to
then
wait.
I guess it's like, wind down time.
Yep.
Of course, we say that now. Oh, I do have something. I do have November. I have an investigation with Forgotten Explorations, I think, at New Egypt Museum in New Egypt, New Jersey. Yeah. So I think, but that's not like a big event or a Paracon. You know what I mean? It's just we're doing an investigation. I think they're filming, but that's it. I mean, I think that's it. And look at who showed up.
April.
My partner
Hey,
in
April.
crime, my partner in crime, my partner in time, my partner in everything. I love her.
The stunning April.
She is amazeballs. Hi, hotties. Like that's plural. She's so great. I love her so much. So
I can hardly wait till she gets glasses, and then she won't be calling us that. So
she's hot. She's the hottie.
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yes, we do. Me and just not power. It's we have this announcement. It's me, April, and Danger. If anybody's familiar with Danger Close, April and myself. October 11th. We have a
Special announcement.
Yes, thank you, Greg. Thank you. So with that, everybody, I hope you guys join me next week. Again, or this weekend, and then next week. I'm a little busy little bee right now. So hopefully that slows down. So if anybody's messaged me and stuff like that, I'm not ignoring. It's just been so crazy trying to catch up. I love you both so very much. And Greggy, we got to come to the fort. And then Greggy, we need to go to Canada.
Great White North. Yes.
Yeah, we will. We'll set that up. We got to do it. I think that would be so cool. I don't know why I hadn't thought about that sooner, but we got to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And
Love you too.
I'll see you soon.
Yep. See you
All right.
in just over a month.
Right? Isn't that crazy? It's
Okay.
gonna be fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna be partying.
Ghostbuster pizza delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the ghost peppers.
Oh my God. No, I skipped that. I'll skip that. I love you guys.
All right.
Love
Good
you
night.
too. Good night.